Hey guys, Mason here. As an American, I've used English my whole life. Now, going back to the good old days when I was in high school, we did a lot of reading of Shakespeare, and we learned a lot about Old English, such as thee, thou, and ye. But that's a new guy, so we're not going to talk about him. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the differences between American English and how it's spelt across the pond in England. The spelling of the two languages are very similar but different. We're going to go over those differences. Now, the first one on my list is definitely one of my favorites, and I actually prefer the sophisticated spelling of the English. It is the word color. For whatever reason, the English like to decide to add an extra U to the word, and for Americans, we thought it was a bit too much. Now, what I'm going to do is maybe a little bit of a story, okay? So, you're looking for a nice brand new car. And, as many of you today look online, others would look into a catalog. As an American, we like to keep the endings nice and short, but the English like to use other endings, such as dialogue. That GUE at the end makes it just a little bit more fancy. Well, looking at the catalog, you can find a gray car, and it's spelt the same way as the author of 50 Shades. If anything, it's a beautiful family novel. Anyways, in America, we don't like the E in gray, so we put an A in there, because why not? But after you finally get your gray car from the dealership, and you ride on out, and you're really excited, and you get going, well, on your way home, you might hit a curb. Now, you'll probably be screaming and yelling, but the only screaming and yelling I'll be doing is trying to figure out why did they spell it differently. When you hit the curb, one of your four tires, one of these guys, has popped. Now your tire in America is a TIRE, but over in England it's TYRE. A little je ne sais quoi. But you know what? They like to put fancy stuff in there, and it kind of reminds me of the 90s to 2000s, where at the end of words we'll replace S's with Z's or Z's. After you get the tire, you popped it, you may have to pay for it in some different way, and most places nowadays do wireless payment. But back in the day, you had to write a check. And I kind of prefer the way that this is written. It's just a little fancier, but you'd write out a check. But as you're probably running along, and all of this craziness is going along, you feel a bit stressed. You know, everything's kind of putting on you about having to pay the bills for the check, and maybe some would say that amount of stress is aging you. Well, let me tell you, this is definitely one that I got wrong in the 3rd grade, because aging right here is not what I'm used to, okay? Not up in here. Because aging in America does not contain the E. Now that you've paid for everything, you've got the new tires, everything's off on the road, you're ready to go home, relax, maybe go to your apartment. But it's on a 2nd story apartment. And honestly, another crazy one. Another E. As you go home, you go upstairs, you relax, and one of the things that I always like to do is film the mustache. So, you want to get warm, you want to snuggle up in bed, because you're just exhausted. You've had a long day, you've been stressed out. So you put on your favorite pair of pajamas. This ain't it. that little Y right there, no thank you. I don't enjoy it. But you know what? To some people, I guess it's okay. This should be the American TA. Anyways, if you enjoyed this little story, I guess you wouldn't call it, and there's any other things that you'd like to see about the UK versus the US, please let me know in the comment section down below. And also, please consider subscribing. If this was a little educational video for you, please let me know, and if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, and maybe we'll see what other differences these two countries have. If you have any suggestions, again, comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.